Actually, Chris usually wakes me up early in the morning. 5 minutes, Chrissy. And he'll bring me in his bed. He picks my glasses up and kind of drags me out of bed. Brings me in his bed and he'll go to sleep like on my arm, you know. Honey, you gotta wait, honey. Daddy's talking. Let Daddy talk. Just dance and I'll get it later. He'll sleep about 20 minutes or a half hour and then tell me he wants a bath. So the bath is very ritualistic. He likes very hot water. Okay. Then he pours himself a Coke Zero. I have to then say, when he gets in the bath, drink your Coke Zero, drink your Coke Zero, drink your Coke Zero, yeah. Drink your Coke Zero, drink your Coke Zero, drink your Coke Zero, go ahead. Okay. Then I tell him what we're going to do today. We're going out, we're going to go shopping at so-and-so, then we're going to go here, then we're going to go there. Can't tell him too much, and you can't tell him like later in the day. Okay. Because if I said, later we're going to go see Mommy and tell us, every minute he'll be asking me, when are we going, when are we going? 5 minutes, 2 minutes, yeah. So you can't do that. So then he gets out of the bath, he likes me to dry his hair a certain way. He gets dried and then I get him dressed. Then he waits for me to shower up, gets his teeth brushed, and then we go out and do our business. When we come home, I have to do the chalk. It's called the chalk because it used to be a chalkboard. Okay. Now it's a, dry erase. Dry erase, thank you. So I do a schedule for the week. Okay. Now, today is Wednesday, right? So when I come home, Wednesday's dropped. So we start with the next day, Thursday. So we go to Saturday. Okay. It's 2 days, like 7 days. And in each day, I just list a few things. And again, nothing spectacular. Like if we're going swimming, I won't put it down because he's going to think about it all week. You know what I mean? So I keep it very simple. And then, like, let's say we're going here, for example. I'll say, hey, we're going to do some exercise, and then I'm going to get you dressed, and we're going to go see Mom. He's like, yeah. And then I said, well, you can have some Coke and dance and so forth. And that's the only way I can do it. You know, I can't tell him, like, if I ordered something for him, like a movie that he likes or something like that, because he'll just, the wait will be excruciating.
So he has to have a special way that he communicates with you, right?
Well, Chris has language. It's tough for him to process. Okay. So basically, I mean, this is a very autistic thing, but quick explanation. We're sitting here now, there's a million things going on, right? Lights, plants, cameras, noise, things, noise out there. To Chris, everything has just as much importance. Okay. So he can't tune it out. So now he's obviously gotten better, but it's all coming at him. So what are the defenses? I spin something, or I go like this, and I concentrate on it. That's why kids with autism can do such detailed work like in art, because they're able to concentrate on little lines, or their memory is so good because they concentrate on something they like. Yeah. So to tune it out, they'll self-stimulate, things like that. Because your body's not getting stimulation because they've tuned out everything. Okay. Now when you hit me with, hey, you want to go, I've got to stop what I'm doing, process what you said, which is hard. Then I've got to process my answer. Now remember, I think in pictures, number one. Okay. Number two, I don't have general descriptions. So if you said, we're going to go on a boat later, the only picture of a boat I have, let's say, is I was on one and it was very rocky. I didn't like it. Okay. So drink your diet soda. Drink your diet soda. Drink your diet soda. Go ahead. So now I have to get that picture out of my mind. Okay. Picture a regular boat. Decide what I want to say to you, and then spit it out. Yeah. So that's why I avoid eye contact with you, because I don't want to engage with you. It's as simple as that. Okay. Drink your diet soda. I always use the example of people who come over and they don't speak the language and they're overwhelmed with everything, and you say, here's $20. Go to the market and get 2 steaks and some Diet Pepsi. And they go, steak, Pepsi, okay. They have no idea what you said. Right. It's like, please leave me alone. You know what? Yeah. I do that with like masculine things, because I'm the most unmasculine person in the world, but I look like I should be, So people say to me, so you want to work on the motor? And I look and I go like, oh my God, don't even talk to me. I'll cry, But they expect me to know, So I'm always going, no, I'm not hunting. Please leave me alone. I'll stay in a hotel with a buffet. Thank you. Yeah. So But that's basically what the disorder does. The things that come along with it are not caused, the disorder doesn't make you do certain things, they're just defense mechanisms.
Yeah.
So why do I repeat everything you say? Like I'm echolalic and I repeat things because I'm just trying. Do you want a soda? 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 Just, I'll say what do you want? Leave me alone.
Yeah.
Echoic, well that's echoic, I'm sorry. Echolalic is like, I hear a character in a movie, like real happy, and they go, joy, oh joy. And I adopt that as my happiness phrase. So that's echolalic. So you'll say to me, you having a good time? I'll go, joy, oh joy. But it's an easy thing for me. Right. So they plot their little days, like, how do I get through this? How do I get through that? How do I, if you work hard enough and, introduce certain things, the day isn't that painful.
Okay.
But in the beginning, especially if they're very, very autistic, extremely autistic, it hurts, man. Everything hurts you. Clothing, noise, smells, heat, animals, quick motions, anything.
Yeah. Does he still go through?
Somewhat.
Okay.
But not like he used to.
Okay, so it used to be a lot worse. We're talking about
I can't even tell you.
haircuts.
I can't even tell you. The typical day for me, and I'm not, again, it sounds like, holy shit. It was 24 hours. Chris never slept.
Oh, wow.
And he needed constant stimulation. So he'd bounce on the bed at night. He'd turn on the TV like he loved the stock thing going on about.
Oh, yeah.
Because, again, it's just, it keeps you occupied. Later, honey, way later. You gotta wait. So the day was basically, Chris wouldn't like to wear clothes. They were uncomfortable. He hurt himself. He smeared himself in feces. He wouldn't eat. He drank formula till he was 7 years old. He had no voice, no words. I couldn't eat in the house. He would smell it and he'd go after me and he'd gag.
Oh,
You
wow.
couldn't have the TV on. You couldn't cough. You couldn't sneeze. You had to keep the lights dim. He ate wood. He ate the table. He ate his clothing. He ate mud. He ate nails. Wouldn't go to the bathroom. Now, that's common. Holding your movements is a way of control.
Oh.
And everything with these guys is controlling their environment.
Okay.
I mean, we do the same things, but we're more socially acceptable. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I make a list every day,
Yeah.
but I don't have to put it on the board. You know what I mean?
Right.
Right? So he would go 20 days. A little later, honey, he would go like 20 days without going to bed.
Wow.
And you couldn't do anything. I would give him Miralax. I would manually manipulate him. I had medicines. It wouldn't go. It turned out what usually happens again, they have swollen and scarred intestines. They usually have intestinal damage. Their stomachs and their immune systems are not mature. So anything they take in, and they don't have good bacteria. So I took him to New York to the best doctor at that time, who would examine his stool all the time. I would send him samples, and we put him through a series of tests. It turned out that not only were they swollen and scarred, but he had nickel, arsenic, mercury, yeast, and measles in his intestines.
Wow.
Which simply proved that he could not push out poisons. So anything he ingested would lay and eventually go to the bloodstream. The bloodstream goes right to your brain.
Yeah.
Okay, so you have a leaky gut, that is what it is.
Yeah.
So we worked on the yeast, which is like almost like an addiction. They crave yeast. That's why they eat a lot of bread.
Okay.
I believe he had a ring around his anus that was mercury.
Oh, wow.
So we worked on everything and basically healed. So what they're saying to themselves is, I went to the bathroom one time and it hurt. That's another thing. I don't want to go. No matter what you do to me. Once they learn that it's easier to go, they start going.
Okay. So when did you first know?
I knew something was off or wrong when he was about 2.5.
Okay.
I noticed right away. And of course, at that time, which is more than 20 years ago, nobody knew what autism was. There weren't any books. The doctors didn't know. I would go to doctors and they'd say, I don't really know what the symptoms are.
Yeah.
So I think I went to the Children's Hospital in Philly. And they were okay, not great. But the Kennedy Krieger Center for Autism and Related Disorders at Hopkins opened up.
Okay.
And they were supposed to be wonderful, which they were. And I got a full evaluation. Language, people, experts on autism, neurological, psychiatrists, the whole bit. At the end of the day, they said, listen, he's got severe autism, mental retardation, all the things I told you.
Yeah.
The only bad experience was I had a neurologist who said to me, he has a lot of neurological problems. And he obviously hurts himself and everything, and this and that. And he said, he'll never speak. He said, if I were you, I'd think about institutionalization. Later, honey, come on, you can't have all that soda.
Yeah,
so
when they gave you that diagnosis, that recommendation, I mean, that had to be a shocker.
Well, I was angry, to be honest with you, because I said to him, okay, he said to me, he'll never be captain of a football team. Let me put it that way. So I said, well, I wasn't captain of the football team.
Yeah,
I said, I don't particularly care, I said, also, I'm not paying you, I did 10 minutes. So I did. I said, I'm not paying you. He said, what do you mean you're not paying me? I said, I'm not going to pay you for that type of nonsense, So I literally went back home, and Chris used to line everything up.
Okay.
Everything in the house, from silverware to sticks to rocks to little things, and he'd make pictures out of them, cotton balls, everything. But that's another form of control, right?
Right.
So I have all these spoons. I'm going to line them up in perfect order. Now, one day I walked by. He lined them up on the stairs, like going up. And I walked by. I happened to move one. I knew I moved it. I didn't. He came back down the stairs later. And he went like that, and he looked and he moved it back. That's how he collected these little rubber lizards, right? They had every color and every shape. I mean, there were thousands of them. One day, I can't find him, and I run up the steps, and he's in the bathroom, and he is drawing, as well as he could, every lizard on the walls, on the floor, on the toilet, in the bathtub, and everything, in every possible combination he could think of.
Wow.
That's how amazing his mind was. So it would be the green lizard with the scales, the purple lizard with the scales, the yellow, and then it would be the yellow, the pink, the green, it was unbelievable.
Yeah.
And I took pictures of it, God knows where they are. But he would make incredible things on the floor that if you looked from his angle a little later, honey, it would be a dinosaur or something.
Yeah.
He would build things, and he'd wait till the sun came in. And then the shadows, he's amazing. Collected VHS movies, thousands of them, and would collect them by the barcode, by the production company. He would study them and tell me to buy this one. A little later.
Yeah. So did he like watching the movies too?
He used to like watching them, but okay, here's why VHS were good for these kids. A lot of kids get VHS. They'd run it through. Like you go through a book like real quick to look, and then he'd go back to the thing that caught his eye, like the thing he'd like.
Okay.
And then he was able to play it and reverse it, play it and reverse it. So he could stop it and look at it and study it. Move it a little bit and the hair would go this way, and he'd look at it. He used to make me draw like the Muppets. And he'd move it a little bit, and he'd put his hand on my hand, and then he'd move it a little bit and then tell me to keep drawing. So
wow.
that's the first way we actually learned. A little later, sweetie. Take it easy. He would bring me a coloring book and crayons, and he'd hand me a crayon. So I'd say, this is red. You want red? And he'd point. So I'd do the red. Stop. Give me another color, Yeah. Like he did a rainbow like that.
You.
Yeah, he directed me. But then I started saying, what color is that? Give it to Dad. Pink. Very good. You want pink? Where do you want it? Here,
Okay.
We also had picture exchange, which is called PEX, but there was no PEX at that time. So.
What is PEX?
Okay. PEX is, they're very visual, right?
Okay.
So the best way to teach kids is through modeling, like I Do It, or a movie, or a picture board, like a storyboard.
Yeah.
And PEX was picture exchange communication.
Oh, okay.
So I would have Velcro, but we did this ourselves. There'd be Velcro strips for everything he liked. And it would say Pepsi, a picture of a Pepsi, and and that's it. Okay.
Yeah.
So he'd give it to me. Oh, you want a Pepsi? Say Pepsi. Hey, great job. Well, all of a sudden, you say to yourself, fuck, language is pragmatic. This word that they keep trying to get me to say means Pepsi. I get a Pepsi.
Yeah.
So now it was easier when instead of just going, Pepsi, He go, Pepsi, you know. He was so smart. He used to eat peanut butter sandwiches.
Okay.
And there was a picture of peanut butter, you know, on the Velcro thing with the words, but there was a picture of a sandwich also. And I used to cut the sandwich in half. So he gave me a peanut butter tag, and then he gave me the sandwich thing. So I said, oh, you want a peanut butter sandwich? I mean, no, give it back. I did it like 12 times. What he wanted was his sandwich cut in half.
Does he still eat peanut butter sandwiches?
No, he eats peanut butter like from my finger. Like he won't use utensils.
Oh, really?
Hardly eats anything. Very picky. He eats bread.
Okay.
Okay, let's imagine again a roll or a piece of white bread. No seeds, no crust, no nothing. It's soft.
Yeah.
It's mushy.
It's not a lot to process.
Right. Hey, I'll get you one a little later, honey. It's easy to digest. You know, there's no flavor. You know, so he eats a lot of bread. Now, what we finally got him to do was drink cold pressed juice.
Okay.
So I'll have him drink cold pressed juice all day long and water. So he's getting some protein, some vitamins, some vegetables. You know, beets, this, that, anything. He'll drink iced tea, like the different iced teas, like blueberry. You know, not sugary, like real good stuff.
Right.
I had him eating peanut butter, a few little things, and then he gets off it, and it's very hard. He is the most stubborn person you've ever met. So, like, people always told me, why don't you do the gluten-free diet? Yeah, okay, why don't you come over and do the gluten-free diet?
Yeah.
Because, you know, I mean, I've tried gluten-free bread, you know, nothing. So he knows what bread, what rolls he wants. He'll go to the market. Now he checks his cabinet with the bread, looks, picks out a couple that are a little old, you know, throws them out.
No.
And 5 bread. I need 5 bread. He's got to have them and make him feel secure. So we have to go out and get 5 more breads.
You mentioned in the beginning it was, you know, it was a 24-hour.
Yeah, seriously, 24 hours.
For you. So how has that changed from then till now?
Well, Chris is pretty independent as far as being in the home.
Okay.
Like, he won't hurt himself. He won't touch anything. You know, he likes to be in his room. He likes to listen to music. He'll do the computer. He'll do some art. He's got a little like standoffish as far as doing more like computer stuff and drawing pictures. He used to draw a tremendous amount. His artwork is incredible.
Okay.
It's on my Facebook somewhere. He did self-portraits.
Really?
One is like a guy in a sport coat with colors that looks like a court jester, and he's like this.
Yeah.
You like, you know, like that's how people see him. One is like a Frankenstein monster.
Yeah.
There's background to it and stuff like that.
And
so
where does he pick all that up?
Chris must have knowledge of Albert Einstein. He listens to WITF all day long.
Really?
And he'll look at them with volcanoes, Antique Roadshow he's watching, you know. I imagine if he ever had the ability to just say things to me, he'd spit out knowledge that was incredible.
Yeah.
But every bit that he's learned on the computer, he can do anything on a computer. Artwork, downloading, music, he's taught himself. Now, he used to take blank VHS tapes and record a music video.
Okay.
Then he'd record another video. He'd splice the tape with his teeth to make the video he wanted and tape it together.
Wow.
And then he would take off the little piece of plastic so you can't record over it anymore. No, I didn't even know that. If I was sitting in his room, he'd take a chip out of the TV. I didn't know what he was doing, so I couldn't watch TV. I remember before they had like on demand.
Yeah.
I used to record The Sopranos. He'd erase it all and put his programs on. So I mean, brilliant guy. Yeah. You know, I think what happened in his 20s is he's become a man, like an adult man. He's like, I like to lay around. You know, he likes to take walks. He loves concerts.
Yeah, it seems he really likes music. What?
Loves
where
music.
Did that draw come from?
He always liked music, and the first communication we had when we used to go, so we went to Kennedy Krieger at Hopkins every day for 2.5 years. We drove because it was the best school or the only school around. Then he aged out, and they wanted him to go to Hopkins. It was a later program, but it was more for emotional problems. They had autism, but they would, you know, lurch out. Not that he didn't, but I was like, okay, you know, I don't want him a class with everyone. But he learned a lot. He did very well. I had cassettes at that time, and I had a lot of Van Morrison.
Okay.
and he loved it. And he loved bass lines and stuff. Well, one day he's playing, I'm playing around with him, and he looks at me and goes, da, 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 da. Like, he never did that. And it was Caravan from Van Morrison.
Oh, wow.
So we kept doing it. We started doing songs back and forth. Like, he'd let me fill in things.
Yeah.
When he started to speak a little bit, he'd say the words, sigh, and then I was supposed to, nine, and he kept doing that. So he was directing me now,
Okay.
which I think he liked,
Yeah, yeah. And I see you have a Pogues tattoo. Are you into music as well?
Yeah, very much so. Yeah.
Have you ever had him, try and play an instrument?
That's another thing. So we took drum lessons. He was learning very good, and then he didn't want to do it. That's the type of guy he is. Like, we've been to job training. I'm not a big... People want... Well, my son stacks cans. There's nothing wrong with stacking cans, but leave him alone. You know what I mean? I don't know why you have to do something,
Okay. Fair enough.
But he'll fold 2 towels, and they're teaching him something. He goes like, okay, I'm going to the bathroom. Fuck you. I don't want to do this anymore. He took piano at Elizabethtown College and did beautifully. Was really starting. And again, I don't want to do it. That's the way he is.
So it seems like you find something, latches on, and then it's time to go.
He used to, like I said, hundreds and hundreds of pictures. Computer time. He loves flea markets because he can find the old VHS tapes.
Okay.
So one day he sits down at the computer and he types in roots. And he's just watching, and every time they pass a store, he goes like this. He's trying to look in to see if they have... He likes the fair, the Elizabethtown Fair.
Yeah.
So here's how his mind works. I'm going to tell you a story after this because it's fascinating.
Okay.
He knows everything, what day it is, what's going on today. Like, if he wants to go to Roots, he knows when it's Tuesday. And if I say we're not going, he will ask me to go to, like, a certain Wawa. Okay, we'll get it, honey. Well, we'll get there, and then he'll point that one. And I'll go... Chris, that's not the way home. It took me a while to catch on. That way. He takes me to Roots.
Yeah.
Every time. When I want to go back, and I'm terrible with directions, I'll say to him, all right, Chris, how do we get home? And he'll go like this, turn away. Like, screw you, I got where. No, it's great. But what did I want to tell you? Oh, yeah. Okay, listen to this.
Okay.
So we go to Kenny Krieger and everything. I started telling you. Then I wanted to do a program at home. Not everybody, but people were doing ABA, which is Applied Behavioral Analysis.
Okay.
Very similar to Skinner, It's a series of trials and rewards. So you say, touch the orange ball, and he touches the blue. No, touch the orange, and then you give him a reward. There were only 2 centers doing ABA. Rutgers University and Dr. Mary Jane Weiss, and Dr. Lovas in UCLA. So I called them both, and they said, listen, no offense, we don't come to people's homes, I said, well, Rutgers is closer. I'm going to Rutgers tomorrow. I'm going to sit there and tell every reporter I call how you're leaving my son like this. The next day, they sent somebody, and we started a program. I got F&M undergrads to come over and be trained by Rutgers and start what they call discrete trial, because it's a small series of trials.
Okay.
Now, the problem with discrete trial is... Okay, so I teach you point to the quarter, point to the quarter, point to the quarter. But if I leave you in the mall with 4 quarters, could you get a soda? That's always been it's not that practical. So they started doing other therapies. Also, everybody got M&Ms for a reward, so everybody had tooth decay. But that's... And they used to do what's called a no-no prompt, and I hated that because touch orange, no. Touch the orange, no. Also, they're smart enough, and I watched him do this, where they learn the patterns and predict what you're going to do. So you'd go, he'd turn like this and look away, and the guy would say, touch orange.
Yeah, you get it.
And I'd go, wait a minute, So it wasn't homeschooling, it was autistic support, location home.
Okay.
And I had Rutgers University, undergrads, and I'd have to turn in timesheets and bills and so forth.
Right.
And then the school district would pay me, but the way they wrote it up legally, they had no say in the program. So one week, about 2 weeks after we started, I bring this thing, and the woman comes out and she goes, like, smiling, well, you put down 40 hours, and the school week is 36 hours. So we're not paying you those 4 hours. So I said, oh, where does it say that in the contract? And she said, So they said, we'd like to come and observe us. No, you're not coming and observe. It says nowhere that you come and observe. I don't want you in my house, too bad. So they were livid. I mean, they tried everything to shut us down, but they couldn't. But anyway, so fascinating story. So I'm getting to it.
Yeah.
Eventually, his mom passes away, and everything's up in the air. And she was at home for the whole time, so the school program, went. I didn't want to do it anymore. We moved downtown. Things just weren't good, but I had to take him basically to public school. So I would observe the classroom. Eventually, I'd take him out. It was horrible.
Yeah.
So we lost the house, and when I say we were homeless, I'm not trying to be dramatic, but we had to go to stay with different people and stuff like that. One time in the park, they wanted us to attend school, and they were really giving me a lot of shit, with what I wanted. Chris hated going to school.
Okay.
Well, they had a uniform in Lancaster City that you had to wear, and I forget I think it was navy blue pants, right? So I pulled them out again, and I'm saying, do you want to go back to school?
Okay.
But anyway, Chris is over by the calendar, and keeps counting, and keeps counting, and keeps counting, and keeps counting. Whatever he's doing. Comes over to me, and he writes down, Walmart, 56 shorts. So I said, you want to buy 56 shorts? Tan shorts. 56 tan shorts. 50. So I said, Chris, and then it suddenly clicked. I went over to the calendar, and I counted the days left to the school year, minus the weekends. There were 56 days left. And if he wore shorts every day, he couldn't go to school because you had to wear pants. So I basically learned to be autistic, is what happened. And it just fascinated me, So I was telling you, he loves the Elizabethtown pear, and that's what I started with. He knows it's now. So he looks at the newspaper a week before every day. He starts looking. And when he sees the colorful, the Ferris wheel and all that, he goes, and I go, okay, you want to go to the fair?
Yeah.
So we went last night, we're going tomorrow night. But he knows,
It's amazing that that's not overstimulating for him all the
Well, see, that's the funny thing. A lot of people would say that. I took him out all the time I could. Now, he would not leave the house. So I would literally, drink your diet soda. Drink your diet soda. Please drink your diet soda. I would literally take him just outside the door. And I'd go, great job, let's go inside. So then the next day I'd take him 2 steps, baby steps for everything.
Yeah.
So if we had to go to a huge, drink your diet soda, honey, a huge clinic, and I finally had got him in the car and all that, I drive to the clinic, a week before. Say, see that, we're going to go in there one day, Drive back the next day and say, can you get out of the car? Drive back the next day, walk up to the door. That's the way it was. Yeah. I mean,
it's a process.
Yeah. I mean, this continued for a long time, but you have to, that's what you have to do.
Yeah. Where does love of dance come from?
It's music,
Yeah.
He loves music, loves to dance. Now, the guy dances when he gets going, forget about it.
Really?
I mean, he really dances. So every time we go to a concert, he wants to be in the center of the mosh pit. Well, I don't want him to be in the center of the mosh pit. So I move him to the side, and he dances. But usually musicians notice him, especially a guy on percussions, because he's doing the beat. And they'll look, and most of them give him something like the set sheet, or they'll, Rusted Root invited him backstage.
Oh, that's cool.
They were stoned out of their minds. Gave him a shirt, but every time we see them, they go, "Hi, Chris."
Yeah.
Everybody who's dancing loves him. They realize there's something a little off, and they go over and hug him. But the first now we've been to fairs and bands, but I'm talking about the first concert. We saw a real big fish.
Okay.
So there's a guy in the middle of the concert, no shirt, mohawk, big bull ring, and he's really dancing and everything. And he looks at Chris and he starts to come over, and I'm standing like this, I'm just like, here we go, And he looks at him like this. He goes, "You're awesome, dude," and he just hugs him. So this has happened every time. We went to Mighty Mighty Boss Tones in Philly. People were nuts. They were insane, and they were all hugging him.
Yeah. What was the last show you guys were at?
I don't even remember, man. I don't remember. Haven't gone in a while. But
now, does he have like a CD collection or
he downloads music. Again, I can't say here's this thing and you got to do that. He likes doing his own thing, He'll do Pandora. He'll do all kind of stuff.
Does he
I have.
create his own playlist on Pandora?
Yeah,
and feeds
kind
it?
of.
Thumbs up and thumbs down. Maybe?
Sometimes,
Yeah.
but again, it's like he likes the the jukeboxes that are on the internet, whatever that's called,
Yeah.
downloadable, because he'll put in Pearl Jam and all these things come up and he presses it and he looks at the songs and then he presses the song.
So, what would you like someone to know about Chris the first time they meet him?
Well, I'm probably more on edge than Chris is because I'm used to 20 years of, don't do that, don't move here, don't, because it would destroy him. I mean, he'd literally hit himself or run away or whatever. So I'm still not as relaxed as I should be. But if you're going to have Chris in your home or you're going to be out with him, there are certain things you're going to have to abide by. Now they're much less, we could have never been here. We couldn't have switched tables.
Yeah.
All kind of things. But, I mean, I'm not trying to be ethereal here. But Chris is, he's a loving guy. Loves his family. Very funny. Loves his dog. He had a fear of dogs. He used to go into seizure. If we were walking in downtown Lancaster, a guy came with a dog. If I wasn't holding his hand, he'd go and he'd run. And I'm telling you, in the street, I had to dive for him. And this is Kate, really, who did this. She would take him places and say, just go up to the window, then just, again, in steps, touch and this and that. So finally, after years, she said, let's try and we'll see. So we got on a number of, adoption sites. And she would say, hey, this doggy, look at this picture. You want this doggy? And you go, no. So Cindy was up and she said, you want this dog? Yeah.
What kind of dog?
She is a Dachshund Pit Bull.
Oh, wow.
With a brindle. We got her when she was very young. She's very athletic, very guarding, and very different with him and takes care of him.
Oh, wow.
And like if we do the chalk, she sits like this, quiet. She knows it's important. So I'll say, Cindy, you want to do the chalk? And she moves back. And,
Really?
He wasn't bad with, it took him a while to, but he'll pet her and she'll sleep between his legs and things like that.
Yeah.
She's knows he's different. She used to play with us like Rough House and she runs and jumps. Not with him.
Okay.
She'll bring him something, put it down, look, when he really pets her, she smiles.
Yeah.
So it's a great relationship. It really is.
What's next? What's the future?
Well, I'm running into a period of seizures, so we have a new medication. I'm hoping we can control that.
Okay.
I mention that because it's a fact of life.
Yeah.
To me, what I'd like to see, and from what I've read and the adults I've met, in about the middle 20s, sometimes early 20s, they've blossomed like, oh, I want to play the piano, or I'm going to paint now, No, maybe not, I don't know. I don't know about language. Language has regressed. We go back to Elizabethtown College in a couple of weeks. I have a program where undergrads teach Chris, but obviously they learn more than he did. No more, honey. Sorry. So let's say they'll take him to do art, and I will have meetings with them telling them how to teach him what to do. I take him on campus. They do a few things. Then we go to the gym. So he works out a little bit. Then he likes the cafeteria to get soda, obviously. And okay. Today, the guy's going to pick us up, take us home, and we'll rest. And then later you can have a bath with a Coke Zero. Tomorrow, Thursday, it's going to take a minute. We will go to New McDonald's, have a Coke Zero, go to CVS, go to Barely Used. Then we'll come home. Then we'll drive mommy to work. Then we'll drive home. Then we're going to drive to the fair. We'll walk around the fair, have Diet Pepsi, and then we'll drive home, wait a while, and then come and pick mommy up. Okay.
So did he just ask you what the plan
T was tonight or today,
okay.
And then it was THU Thursday.
Oh, okay.
See, and I'm terrible because what I should be doing is, come on, use your voice, tell me.
Yeah.
But to me, and maybe I'm wrong, it's like his way of not having to go. You should see him sometimes. It would take him minutes to spit out a word.
Really?
By the way, the thing you see drink your Coke Zero, drink your, it's just like a stim, like this or something. It used to be 75 times with each item. What do you need, Chris? 3 rolls? Okay, go eat 3 rolls. Come on. 3 rolls. Eat your 3 rolls. He squishes them up because it's softer, so he has this big lump of bread.
Yeah.
3. Okay, do the 3.
Yeah.
Sitting on the couch, dying. 3 rolls. But what can I tell you? Okay, so next, like I said, I only worry about him. Like, is he happy? Is he fulfilled? What more does he want? For me, it doesn't matter. People tell me all the time, you have to reach and you have to blossom and you have to create. And no, I don't. I'm a part-time bartender. That's all I want. Sorry, I hate responsibility. I don't want to be a manager. Leave me alone. I don't want. I really don't have great desires to do anything. Not because I'm lazy. That's me.
And he's happy with.
And he's happy. I mean, the guy wakes up at 2 a.m, laughs for an hour, and I come in and I'll go up to the bed and he closes his eyes like this. He's laughing, and I'll tickle him. He's laughing. He loves his life. He gets in bed with us. We watch movies. I used to work every Tuesday night late. So as soon as I left, he'd start to laugh. I could hear him laughing because I'm leaving. Jump into bed with Kate, and they'd watch movies together. But it was like, he's leaving. But I mean, the guy, like I said, look, he has a soul. He has a heart. He has a personality. He's not just a disorder. He's a marvelous human being. I love him to death. It's hard. I'm sure everything. Every kid is hard. But that's what I'm saying. If we live out the rest of our days in our little house and everybody's happy, I'm happy.
Yeah.